But you do have to be caring, understanding, loving, and patient. It's an unsettling time for everyone, but children still need a safe and secure environment. So don't overwhelm them with endless news items or problems. Keep them gainfully occupied and amused, exercised and rested. Protect our children. A message from the Child Care and Protection Agency, Ministry of Human Services and Social Security, and UNICEF.
Hey, first-time voters, now is the perfect time to have your voice heard.
Hi, I'm Tishani, and I'm going to be voting in local government elections for the first time this year.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle, and I know my voice matters. Yours does too.
Voting is important because you get a chance to have a say in what happens in your community.
Let's go vote.
Go vote on June 12th for local government elections. This is an informative message and does not endorse any particular political party or candidate.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good day. Welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. In your news today, ExxonMobil Corporation and its partners made a handsome profit from the Stabroek Block last year, totaling 1.23 trillion Guyana dollars, or 5.9 billion US dollars. This is more than double what Guyana has received since the creation of its Natural Resource Fund in 2020. As of April, Guyana received some 2.4 billion US dollars in profit oil and royalty from the Stabroek Block operations. According to the 2022 financials for Exxon's subsidiary and operator for the Stabroek Block, Esso, it earned $577.7 billion in profits, a substantial increase over its 2021 earnings. The partners' profits are expected to soar beyond $1 trillion Guyana dollars again in 2023, as the Payara development project will hit first oil this year. And in other news, financial analyst Tom Sanzillo finds it quite troubling that ExxonMobil is pushing for Guyana to accept a meager $2 billion US parent guarantee for oil spill coverage, when the company itself is worth a jaw-dropping $429 billion US. His comment is in the wake of a ruling issued on May 3rd by Justice Sandil Kisoon. The High Court judge ordered the Environmental Protection Agency to secure an unlimited parent company guarantee agreement from Exxon. Such a document would ensure that Exxon covers all costs for an oil spill caused by its subsidiary, Esso, which operates in the Stabroek Block. Importantly, the EPA and Esso have up to June 10th to provide this unlimited parent company guarantee from Exxon or face the suspension of the Liza Phase 1 permit, where over 150,000 barrels of oil are being produced daily. And moving on, the EPA, in arguing against the need for an unlimited parent company guarantee, submitted an unsigned insurance policy to the High Court on January 23rd that would expire a week later. The EPA was required to make submissions as a respondent in the matter that was brought by two citizens for the parent company guarantee requirement outlined in the Liza 1 permit to be enforced. In an attempt to convince the court that there is adequate protection, the regulator, EPA, submitted the $600 million insurance policy provided by Exxon. In the document, it is understood that the policy covers both the Liza 1 and Liza 2 projects. It took effect on February 1st, 2022 and expired on January 31st, 2023. Plugging and abandoning wells is a policy priority because unplugged wells present potential financial and environmental risk to the public. That process is called decommissioning, which is a complex and costly process at the end of the economic life of an individual oil and gas project. It involves the safe plugging and abandoning of oil wells, removal of structures, and restoration of the surrounding areas. Offshore wells, compared with land wells, generally produce more, cost more to plug and abandon, and present different environmental risks. A new study by Nature Energy revealed. Nature Energy estimated that the cost for the plugging and abandoning all 14,000 unplugged, non-producing wells in the United States, Gulf of Mexico, offshore waters, inland waters, and wetlands would cost about $30 billion. And the Guyana Fire Service said that the ill-fated Madia Secondary School female dormitory had 26 heavily grilled windows and 5 doors that were padlocked. The information is contained in the agency's financial report on the fire that broke out in the facility Sunday night, claiming the lives of 19 children. The police force on Tuesday alleged that Sunday night's fire was reportedly maliciously set by a female student who was aggrieved over her phone being confiscated by the dorm mother and the teacher. The Director of Public Prosecution, Shalimar Alihak, is set to receive the file on the fire. The fire service said a physical examination and investigation indicated that the point of origin of the fire was in the southwestern interior of the building in the laboratory area. And 2 of the 11 girls who are admitted at the Georgetown Public Hospital following the devastating fire at the Madia Secondary School's female dormitory on Sunday are still in intensive care unit in a critical condition. According to information received from the hospital on Wednesday, 11 girls are currently patients at the hospital. Out of the 11, 2 are in the ICU, while 8 girls are admitted in the high dependency unit in a stable condition. We were told that 1 girl is admitted in the burns care unit and is set to undergo another surgery shortly. She was among the first set of children who were admitted at the hospital and had to undergo a limb-saving surgery. On Tuesday night, another 7 girls were discharged from the hospital after given clearance from doctors. And moving on, social justice requires greater multilateral and regional cooperation as well as policy coherence by Caribbean leaders and organizations, which will help to advance sustainable growth across the region. This was emphasized by Director General of the International Labour Organization, Gilbert Hongbo, at the 12th meeting of Caribbean Ministers of Labour on Tuesday. Hongbo underscored that the meeting offers an integrated approach and platform for discussion and cooperation in aid of the nation's sustainable transformation. And with its newfound oil wealth, Guyana must adopt international conventions to guard against corruption, particularly as it relates to the management of its elections. This is the view expressed by European Union Chief of Mission Javier Nart during a press conference on the EU election follow-up mission to Guyana on the progress towards achieving electoral reform. Chief of the EU Election Observer Follow-up Mission, Javier Nart, flanked by Annie Marlborough, legal expert for the EU Election Follow-up Mission. The EU Election Follow-up Mission has been meeting with a wide range of stakeholders, including the government, opposition, and civil society. And to wrap things up, hundreds of residents of Barabina, located in the Mabaruma sub-district of Region 1, are now benefiting from enhanced healthcare services with the construction of a new health post in the community. The newly constructed facility, valued at $13.7 million, was officially commissioned by Minister of Housing and Water, Colin Crowell, last Saturday. Regional Chairman Brentall Ashley, Regional Vice Chairperson Anash Peters, and Regional Executive Officer Tika Besasar, among others, attended the commissioning ceremony. And at this point, we close things off by turning the pages of today's Kaieteur News to page 7. A time for mourning. It is a time of mourning across Guyana. All are touched, all shivering. What should have been will come later. Today is a time of national soul searching. We must still our feet and honor our silence. We must mourn, we must cry out our pain. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.